All right, a couple things. So actually, the first item won't affect Pat. I'm not sure how we're going to handle it with you, Giannis, but the 360 feedback's been pushed back to at least the end of April due to the COVID virus issues going on. So there's a link to more details there. 12/9 retrospective is, I think it's next Tuesday at about this time. So if you have anything you want to add, please add comments in there before the end of this week so that I can summarize and add it to the engineering-wide retrospective. So, any questions on either of those? All right, cool. So feedback I've gotten from the working group, charting working group, is a little more detail on what we're doing with Citus. Specifically, they're looking for timeline, like when do we end the exploration, when do we determine whether or not we're moving forward on actually using Citus as our sharding solution. There's at least one unanswered question out there, and that's whether or not we're going to use Enterprise. It seems as though the community license is going to be a problem. It's, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but a new Affero license where it could be interpreted as requiring access to the server in which it's running. And Sid chimed in on the database issue and said that this could be a problem for some of our customers. So that the community edition may be a non-starter for us. And I haven't heard back yet from Microsoft since they bought Citus on what the enterprise licensing would be. I have requested a time to set up a call with them, and anybody on this call is welcome to join that conversation whenever it gets set up. I'm still waiting to hear feedback from them, but if it's way too expensive and doesn't meet like a return on investment, then it might be a non-starter there too. So we'll have to start looking into alternatives once we're done with this exploration. So Pat, you're probably the most involved on this. How much time, well, not probably, you are the most involved on this right now. How much more time do you think you need for exploration with Citus?
Well, the cluster is set up, but I think we have still an issue with not really having enough data to test it thoroughly. So one of the things I was thinking probably we need to do is maybe have some kind of like production, like cleaning script or something, cleaner script that we can kind of anonymize the data so that we can use it, because I just don't think that we have a data set large enough really to do proper testing otherwise. Mm-hmm. But I think also some of that, I don't have the access to do that. I don't know if Andreas can pull in some of those from like the Restore project. That's not really answering your question, but these are just thoughts I was having.
Sure, yeah.
As far as the timeline, so when I talked to Andreas some about this last week, I think after the meeting, we were kind of wondering if on our end, before we invest too much time in this too, if you're going to talk to Citus or Microsoft, whether it would be a good idea to get someone technical on their side who could kind of just look high level and say, like, do we even think that this is going to be a fit for what you guys are trying to do? Yeah. Because it may very well say with the requirements kind of coming out of infrastructure and stuff they don't think it is going to really support the use case. So I think maybe we could try to do that before we invest a bunch of time testing on our own.
Yeah. As far as getting the data set, so Andreas is most likely going to be out this week, all week. He has put it on his calendar. He's going to be out and recovering from his illness. So I would say probably the best resource, Pat, for you to reach out to is Nelia. Have you ever spoken with her?
No.
Okay, we'll get her info here. So she's the one that worked on that tool to generate large data sets, and that should include either randomization or anonymization of the data.
Okay.
So that we can use it for testing. Because she went through that same issue with needing testing to do large import testing without using customer data, obviously. So I will send, I'll connect you two later on today.
Okay.
And then, are there any early concerns with what you've been doing with Citus other than like not having real data to test with? Are there any red flags that you've seen so far, or has all the early testing been all right?
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's going to be a significant amount of change that needs to be done to support it. I don't think it's going to be hopefully as easily able to be dropped in as what we initially thought, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest concern right now is, I guess, the licensing that you talked about. If we're saying that we're not going to pursue enterprise or it's not worth the cost, then I think at that point it's probably not worth investigating further because some of the features that we want are enterprise only.
Right. So my understanding of Citus is it greatly simplifies a lot of the things that we could do otherwise on our own with PostgreSQL sharding, right? It's not like it's, yeah, I don't know any other way to put it. It just simplifies the work that we would otherwise have to build on our own, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay. So if Citus becomes a non-starter for us, then it would just probably mean a longer development timeline for us to develop those features on our own if we have no other extensions or other options that we can look into, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay. And we haven't even, I don't recall any other technology that we were considering looking into because there was really nothing else that would help accelerate our development like Citus, like we originally thought Citus would, right? There's no other extension or drop-in that we could use.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. We haven't talked about anything else.
Right. And Giannis, you're not aware of anything else either. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll revisit this on, well, we'll talk some more about it tomorrow. Maybe Alvaro can give us some more feedback on whether or not he thinks Citus can meet our use case. I haven't heard any concerns from him other than asking implementation details. He hasn't said it's a non-starter yet. We can certainly restate that question tomorrow during the sync. And for now, we should probably consider, we're in the middle of 12.10 right now. We should do a gut check by the end of 12.10 to see if we need to continue that exploration or if we need to abandon and start over with our own implementation of sharding. And hopefully I'll get feedback from Microsoft. I will continue to badger them over the next couple of days. Microsoft is still in the process of even incorporating Citus into their offering. So it's not part of their enterprise offering yet. They said it was going to be a part of their suite as of tomorrow. So they may just not have the information that we need at this point in time. So lots of moving parts right now. All right, anything else we need to cover on Citus right now? Any other questions or concerns? All right, take that as a no. Andreas is out. Is anything that Andreas is working on right now, is it a blocker for either Pat or Giannis right now? Nope. Okay. All right, Pat, let's jump into what you're working on.
Yeah, sure. So the first one here is just testing our solution to the cascading delete problem that wouldn't be supported with partitioning tables. So I think that the issue here, like we can use triggers, that works. I think there was sort of, we wanted to talk about maybe a longer term solution too of maybe we don't want to rely on cascading deletes as much going forward because it's going to become an issue. But that's sort of a bigger conversation.
Okay. There's no workflow label there. Is that in development?
Oh, yeah, I can set that. Yeah, that's, yeah, it's in development.
Okay. And then this one, right now.
Yeah, that one was merged. I'm just waiting for it to be released.
Okay.
The Citus cluster is running. It's just a matter of needing to load some more data there.
Okay.
And I'll add the issue or the label to that one too.
Good.
Then this one I just kind of started looking at yesterday to how I would implement that. I'm probably going to work on that one today.
Okay.
And then the last one was an issue that was raised yesterday. There was a minor bug with the structure.sql change that since Andreas is out, I'm going to fix that.
Right.
Or I fixed it, so I'm just waiting to. I'm going to, put that for review today.
Okay. On this previous one, the support limits for offset. Let me know if you have any questions on that one. There were a lot of conversations that took place, but I think all of the information is somewhere in the threads and comments on what's needed.
Yeah, I think I know what I need to do, but I'll let you know if I don't.
Yeah, and that'll be helpful to get that one rolled out. We still have some customers that try to go well beyond a certain limit that when the performance degradation is huge. So it'd be good to get that one in. All right, Giannis.
Yeah, I'm starting now working on those issues. By the end of the week, I will know where am I and if I can jump to other issues also and how things go. So yeah, if you give me by this week, I think that I will know exactly where am I.
Okay. Are any of these in development, or are you just currently reviewing?
I'm reviewing, and I will pick one today and start working on it.
Perfect. And do you know what the workflow labels are?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a hard time finding the handbook entry for that. So good. Okay. Thank you. Let's see what's there for unassigned. I want to make sure we have work in case anything needs to get picked up. Okay, so we still have some unassigned issues in 12.10. So if either of you run out, you can pick up from there. And if we run out, let me know. I can pull more in from the backlog. And then at one point in time, we talked about building out a retention SLA. Pat, I know you brought this up. And I don't know since then if we built an issue for it, but I just made a note of it because a couple of folks brought it up in the last week. So something we should track for the future, and I'll follow up with Josh to make sure it gets prioritized and that if we don't have an issue for this, then one will get built. So
yeah,
just one.
I know Andreas, he had created an issue about trying to restrict the size of the database growth. And in there, I'll see if I can find it. But in there was linked to another issue about something with CI builds about there is a work in progress or an issue out there to trim that table down. So I think that maybe work is underway, at least for that table. We'll see if I can find the issues.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound familiar. I do know what you're talking about as far as restricting growth. So, all right. Ben, you got anything for us this week?
No, not really. It's been kind of quiet actually, given that the Postgres Postgres upgrade is out there. Yeah, I'm also running a bit below capacity because of that one there.
That's awesome.
That's also why I'm dropping the camera.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
So I do want to do a bit of a trawl. I know I've upgraded my Postgres, so I want to see if anybody else has done that and tripped over any issues before we get too
upgrading to 11.
Yeah, because it's going to be mandatory from 13, isn't it? So
it is. Yeah,
it's definitely something I want to try and get on top of if it's an issue out there.
Yeah, infrastructure has an issue for their current process for upgrading to 11. They are, I don't know if they've tested staging yet or if they're planning on testing staging imminently, but they are in the process of upgrading our infrastructure to 11. So I can find those issues for you and add them to the agenda here.
they're going to get one of their environments is a geo environment, isn't it? I think, is it staging that's geo? That's gonna be a blocker because geo's not ready for 11 yet. Last time I saw. That sounds fun.
Here's the overall epic. So yeah, that might be when we talked yesterday. I believe they've run through their first pass of upgrading staging. Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ben. Well, if there's nothing else, we have gone through the agenda. Anything else anybody wants to cover? Nope. Everybody staying safe. Good. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll let you all have some time back. And take care, stay safe, and talk to you all soon.
You too.
Bye.